And I will be fairly quick. That's good.
There we go.
Great. So welcome everybody to the end of the conference. It's almost time to say goodbye, but there are still a few more things that we need to do. We're getting into sort of the more celebratory, and we've got some thank yous and a few things coming up to tell you about. However, first, I'd like to take a sort of a serious moment to acknowledge that there are a number of people who have passed on in the past year who are part of our tall ships industry and tall ships community. And so you should be seeing on your screen now a slide that has the names of a number of people who have passed in the past year. If there are any other people who you would like to acknowledge, then I encourage you to write those names into the chat on Whova so that we can all take a moment to remember these folks. And so once you've typed any names into the chat that you would like to remember who are people who are part of our community, part of our industry, we're going to take just a moment of silence to remember and honor these people. Thank you, everybody. That's important to acknowledge. And so we appreciate you taking the time to make that acknowledgement today. And now we get to move on to some thank yous. There are a lot of people who have worked really hard in order to make this conference come together. In particular, I would like to acknowledge and thank the conference committee. They have been at this for months now. I think we started in August, maybe, trying to put things together. And then when the decision was made to move the conference from a mostly in-person conference to an online conference, it was sort of all hands to the pumps to make the transition to a virtual conference and do this format instead. So I'd really like to say thank you to the conference committee members. Those folks are Sarah Armour, Jeff Crosby, Jen Haddock, Amali Knobloch, Adrian McCullough, Sarah Martin, Rachel Miller, Rick Miller, Kate Neubauer, Chris Nolan, Mike Retstein, and Jillian Votava. So thank you so much to all of them. I'd also like to acknowledge the organizations that they work with who have been so generous with their time to volunteer their time with Tall Ships America for the purpose of organizing this conference. We'd also like to thank all of our speakers. There have been some pretty dynamic and interesting presentations over the past couple of days, and so all of the speakers will be acknowledged by a donation made in their name. And so the speakers really also have done so much work in order to put together each of their presentations. So we'd like to say a big thank you to them. This is a little weird, nobody clapping, by the way, just saying. We'd also like to thank our sponsor, Allen Insurance and Financial. I don't know how many of you were just in the session with Chris Richmond and Mike Raworth, but they bring so much to our industry, to our community, and have been huge supporters of this conference for years, and particularly for this year. If you haven't had a chance to go watch their video yet in the sponsor section, check it out, please. But thank you so much to everybody at Allen Insurance and Financial. That your support is definitely greatly appreciated. We'd like to acknowledge the crew grants, folks who were able to attend the conference, receiving some financial support from the crew grants. That financial support has come from the Liz Stroney Memorial Fund, and also from some kind individuals who, when they registered, they paid it forward. And so those crew grants not only allow crew to attend these 2 conference days, but they also allow folks to attend the crew resource days, which are coming up. I'll tell you a bit more about those in a moment. And they also include a year-long Tall Ships America crew membership for those folks. So lots of value in receiving a crew grant, and hopefully those folks who have joined us here on one of those crew grants have really got some benefit and done some professional development over the past couple of days and learned lots of things that they can take forward with them. So thank you to the Liz Stroney Memorial Fund and also to everybody who paid it forward. A lot of the sessions that have been hosted during this conference were recorded. Not all of them, but most of them. And so those recordings will be available starting, I think, on Friday and into March. So if there's something that you missed, or if there's something that you love so much that you need to see it again, or you didn't take enough notes or something like that, you're welcome to go back and review the material. There's still more of it left to see, and so that will be available here in Whova until March for you. So although this is sort of coming to the end of the proper conference days, there is still more to come. We have 2 crew resource days that the conference committee has been working on planning for you. The first of those days, the 1st of March, it will be sort of more of a career fair kind of format. The second day, the 2nd of March, will be more of a professional development day. So a little bit more like this there'll be sessions on different topics and things like that to attend. So the crew resource days are geared for crew, but also for people who work with crew and people who, might be interested in sort of taking a next career step, but also for folks who do some hiring or managing or, are involved in the crew in the crew world in different ways. And so we really encourage you to come and join that. The sort of admission to the crew resource days is included in your conference registration. So you're already signed up. Why not show up? It'll be great. And speaking of that, there are 2 special things that are happening at the crew resource days. One of them is for anybody who is looking to get a sail endorsement on their license. Captain Chris Nolan is putting together a program where folks can do that. I think that there has been an email sent out about it, and there's also something in the organizer announcement section of Whova where it's got Chris's email address. And so if you are interested in getting your sail endorsement, then please make sure that you check that out and get in touch with Chris directly. The other thing that will be happening at the Crew Resource Days is a social activity. Anybody who was here at the conference last year may remember the Tall Ships Task Challenge, where we loved it so much we're doing it again. Except the task is going to be different this time. And so Jeff Crosby will be in charge. He will be the master of the task challenge, and he will be announcing the task. I think it's the 26th of February. And so anybody who would like to be part of participating in the task needs to contact Jeff. And so you can do that. Jeff's email address is in something that's been emailed out to all of the registrants, as well as in the organizer announcement section of Whova. So that is going to be fun. Keep an eye out for that. And I think the last thing that I need to tell you about that is coming up, because there's always more, there's always something else. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is working on putting together a spring seminar, and that will be happening a little bit later in March with details to come soon. And so I'd like to acknowledge particularly as part of our conference committee, Sarah Martin and Amali Knobloch, who are members of the DEI committee for Tall Ships America, who have been sort of the liaison between the the DEI committee and the conference committee and have really added a lot to this conference in terms of perspective. And so we're keen to continue that education through that seminar as well. And I think I'm looking at Chris and Erin to see if I have forgotten any announcements or details about things that are coming up, but they are both shaking their heads. So I think that I get to say thank you so much to everybody for attending. It's been really lovely. I honestly wasn't sure that there was going to be the appetite to continue on in this virtual format and have people participate and interact. And it's just been so lovely to see. And even though we can't be together in person, this is sort of the next best thing. And so thank you to everybody for coming and for contributing and for being part of the discussion. I hope that you've got something out of it. And yeah, I think that's it. I think it's time for awards. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris.
Maggie, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. And I think everybody should exercise their ability to do a round of applause for Maggie. It's just absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to take just a minute. I'm going to try something. This may or may not work, but we're going to give it a shot. And while we get ourselves set up to segue into awards. Can you hear that?
Work the room with your usual crew and a pirate gleam in the air. You can't disarm with all your charm, and they'll all say what a great guy. But I know you and I see through the bragging, swaggering style. Same old jokes, same old strokes, no longer make me smile. All away, strike the sails 'cause we capsize.
So with that, now all I have to do is stop the sound in my ears. So I'm assuming that the sound stopped and we are all set to go. Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to turn it over to Erin, and Erin is actually going to talk about trivia last night. There were winners, I believe.
Well, yes, there were winners. It was a little wobbly to start, but we got there. Just note to self, don't try to create trivia while watching the Olympics. There were a few little quirks, but we had 5 teams competition. Like I said, was fierce, and the winners, and I can't remember how many points, maybe 47 points, and I might be making that up, was the 3 coasts, of which our illustrious leader, Chris Ono von Wald, was a part of. Do you remember who's on your team? Can you name your teammates, please?
I can. It was Brent from Flagship Niagara. It was Sarah from Brilliant. It was Steve Nelson from the Regina Maris Society. I'm going to forget someone. It was Julie and Hugh from, Huron Jewel. Thank you very much. And who else was it? I think that was, did I miss someone? If I missed you, I'm sorry.
No,
we worked together. It was
spot.
fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
I did. I put you on the spot, but it was a lot of fun. So you guys have exactly 1 more hour of bragging rights. So live it up. But anyway, thank you for everyone that participated. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you all met new people. So thank you.
Terrific. Erin, should we skip to the next one then?
Chris is here.
Okay.
Or, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're doing, totally misread that. Yes, of course, we can certainly skip right to the next one. I totally misread that. Mark and Pete, you gave me a moment of panic because I forget that you sign in under your wife's name. So I had to remember that. Mark and Pete, I am just promoting you guys to panelists right now. And let me find my nice words. All right, if you guys want to turn on your cameras too, that would be appreciated. You certainly don't have to, but we would like to see your face. Chris, should we pin them or?
I'll do that.
All right, excellent. Hey, gentlemen, nice to see you again. It's just like old times. Excellent. All right, well, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to say a few nice words for you guys. It's so nice to see your faces again. So as many of you know, or maybe not, but I'm sure you can imagine we all went through this together, but we started planning our 2020 Tall Ships Challenge series with such optimism. So we had the Maine 200, we had ports, we had ships, we had fun. It was going to be a great summer. And then of course, reality crashed down and we realized that the 2020 events couldn't happen. And I honestly never thought I'd ever miss the smell of pine tar, but I did. So we regrouped, we looked ahead to 2021, we made tentative plans, we crept forward and we kept our fingers crossed. And those plans became increasingly optimistic. And in June last summer, we welcomed a small fleet to Boothbay Harbor. So Mark Gimbel and Pete Ripley with Friends of Windjammers are used to hosting tall ships. And anyone who has attended a Windjammer Days can attest to that. Our series looked a little different, but the essential elements remained the same. Ships were warmly welcomed and a community was eager to play host. We knew the ships would be taken care of, but the world had changed. But Mark and his team remained stalwart and steady throughout just everything. And despite a broken ankle on Mark, we persevered. So Mark, I just want to say, I am completely amazed at the incredible supportive community you have in Boothbay Harbor. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought that you were the mayor.
He is.
Everyone should vote for Mark. So
I've heard that term before.
You heard it here first, right?
Okay.
So to everyone at Friends of Windjammer Days, to you guys especially, I want to recognize all of you and thank you. And I'm getting a little emotional too. It was a big thing.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So thank you for your perseverance. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your enthusiasm and all of your generosity. And Mark, all of your lovely bottles of a very good wine and all of the much needed pints of beer.
We don't drink in Boothbay.
It was a good time.
That's my insurance agent there. Don't say too much about drinking.
Oh, I'll keep it on the low down.
It was incredible to see the ships at the dock. You know, we started out with some wobbly, kind of gross weather, but man, we just had a wonderful weekend and it really kind of helped us all realize that we were going to get through this. And I have to thank the both of you guys for just sticking with it. Really, just thank you. Thank you for making Tall Ships Boothbay Harbor such a success.
Well, I
the
think it was
community
good
loved
for
it.
all of us too. You know,
Yeah.
it got Boothbay back, realizing that we can get back to having festivals again. And you know, we've got another Windjammer Days coming up and we're actually putting a lot more events back on, including the street parade and things like that. But it does take a village for us. I mean, we got about 75 volunteers. So it's, you know, we're the front guys, but there's a lot of help there.
That's right.
So, yeah, Mark, do you have anything to say?
Well, Pete pretty much summed it up. We had a Zoom meeting last night with our group. And even though it's only February, for instance, you know, our end of June spectacular, you know, I think Pete and I figured we're going to have 15 to 16 schooners attending this year. And we're on the verge of hopefully signing on the Oliver Hazard Perry that kind of got lost in the COVID shuffle of 2020. But the contract is nearing completion. And we'll have a nice visit from that little dinghy.
Well, well, thank you, Mark. I'm so glad. Thank you guys both so much for being here.
Yeah, we
and
enjoyed it.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad. We do have an
Thank you
award.
for all your help.
Oh my gosh, it was an absolute pleasure. I look forward to working with you guys again. You might just see me bopping around Boothbay Harbor. It was
Sounds
such a
good.
delight. Well,
Great.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thanks for being involved. I am going to move to the next one. And we're going to just do this real quick. Okay, we're good. We are going to move. Basically, the next thing is just to thank our sponsor, Allen Insurance. We'd like to hear from him, and also to thank the committee. And when I say that, the committee is the awards committee, the people who take time and also volunteer on behalf of Tall Ships America to make sure that we are all that the awards that are the people who are nominated, that they are reviewed, they were thoughtfully reviewed, and that they, that we actually give some consideration to those nominations and check them out with the community. We're also in a position where we have the awards nominations go to the board of directors, and that's important for us to do as well. So with that, I just want to turn it over to Chris Richmond, and Chris, ask you to just say a few words, and thank you again for being such a strong supporter of our community.
Thanks very much, Chris, and it's always a pleasure to join the Tall Ship community here for the annual conference via Zoom, unfortunately this year, but hopefully it's the last time we'll have to be doing this for a while. I'd like to echo Maggie's comments earlier and give credit to the conference committee as well as the staff at Tall Ships America for just turning this whole thing around for the last minute and really having a successful conference. You wouldn't have thought that they were screwing around last minute, changing this, turn it into an all cyber event, and fantastic job again. So thanks for all your efforts there. Also, just a quick note that we do have a video available this year. It's if you go to our sponsors tab, and you can see a little video that was put together on Allen Insurance and Financial. I'd like to thank my co-stars, Captains Mike Rutstein and Billy Sabatini, as well as making her debut, Chris Van Wall did a fantastic job as well. So thank you for putting up with that. Also, thanks to Mystic Seaport for letting us set up shop there. Greatly appreciated, and it was fantastic. So in any case, you'll see that on the sponsor side there. This past year, a lot of successes. It was great seeing all the vessels out and operating again. There were some challenges, as I mentioned in my last session. COVID exclusions. Well, not everybody's wearing a mask these days, but the COVID exclusions still on the policies, so it's still something to keep in mind. Policy limits are premium, I should say. Those are going up as well. So it's unfortunate that you have to pay for something that you hopefully will never have to use. But think of it as an opportunity, because a couple of clients of mine, they had some premiums go up, and we went and shopped their policies and was able to find comparable coverages for less money. So don't always feel that you're stuck with what you have. Take advantage of other opportunities out there as well. Lastly, I'd just like to mention, for those members out there, use Tall Ships America to your advantage. There's a lot of information on the website. There's been safety aloft reports done that I always move my new clients to, have them take a look at if they haven't seen that in the past. And feel free to reach out to myself as well. Even if you're not a client of mine, I'm still happy to chat with you. It's one of the services we like to provide to the Tall Ship community. Essentially, if we can help make all the vessels out there a little safer, it just helps everybody out as well. So that's it for me. And I'll look forward to a really pleasant evening here. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you again, Chris. It's wonderful. And I've got to tell you, there's some artful editing in that video to which I really appreciate. So thank you very much. And thank you also. I think one of the things that I really appreciate is the fact that, Chris, you and Allen Insurance have been such a resource for the fleet, whether they're a customer of yours or not. And I think that's important for us to recognize. So thank you very much. And thank you for being such a big contributor to the conference. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Excellent. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to celebrate some of the people and the awards that are being presented here tonight. So I am, again, grateful to the committee for taking a look at this, and I'm really grateful for the people who nominate. One of the things I also want to mention is the fact that it's for every award that we hand out, there are several people who can and should deserve an award. They should receive an award. And I think that, you know, we can't hand out awards to everybody, although we would like to, but we really appreciate the fact that there are nominations that come in from people who are so strongly committed to the work that they're doing, so that we can recognize them with an award. So I'm going to jump right in so we have plenty of time to hear from people. So for Volunteer of the Year, the Volunteer of the Year is awarded to an individual member of Tall Ships America who's significantly advanced our overall mission through volunteer activities. Mary Ann has been a lifelong supporter of the schooner Ernestina Morrissey. She's worked with the ship in educational programming for 26 years and is a remarkable asset to the ship, her programs, and the local community. Mary Ann's breadth of knowledge about one of the oldest sailing tall ships in North America and her passion for ensuring that the ship continues to sail is unmatched. Her efforts as a volunteer have kept the spirit of the ship and its programming alive while the vessel has been dormant or at the shipyard. Mary Ann and her partner, Fred Sterner, have been at the forefront of keeping up with the enormous project of stoking the fires of passion and purpose for the Ernestina Morrissey, and continues to do so as the Ernestina prepares to sail in 2022. So Mary Ann McQuillan, Volunteer of the Year. Mary Ann. Mary Ann, can you unmute?
There.
There you
I don't
You
know why
have-
my dog's picture there instead of me, but that's okay.
Well, Mary Ann, that's fine.
Yeah, during my 9 years of volunteering, I saw the vessel's value as a transformative educator, and I couldn't let go of that after she lost her COA in 2005, and I knew she needed to sail again. One person can't operate a vessel like Ernestina Morrissey. It takes a crew. And the Schooner Ernestina Morrissey Association, or SEMA, is the vessel for that crew that always has looked toward Ernestina Morrissey's future. I was inspired by an amazing network of people across the United States, Canada, Cape Verde, and beyond, and of the commitment of the volunteers and supporters who have reached out. Many people wanted to see her sail again, and they have been both a source of support and inspiration to carry on for me. Some people stepped into the board, like Julius Brito, the president, the founder, Bob Hildreth, charter member, John Bullard, and treasurer, Louise Croto. As secretary, I was part of that crew, and I would see what has to be done and just do it, or recruit someone to help me get it done. I learned a lot of things, email newsletters and websites and social media. I learned how to do what was needed to move SEMA and Ernestina Morrissey's future forward. I think the key is persistence, and look where we are now. Soon a fantastic vessel operated by Mass Maritime will return to New Bedford. I couldn't give up on her. I guess it was just my stubborn Irish genes. This award is really for everyone who has worked to get Ernestina Morrissey sailing again. So thank you very much for this honor.
Mary Ann, well deserved. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate that. So now moving to the next one. Young Sail Trainer of the Year. This is awarded to a sail trainer under the age of 30 to encourage and recognize high-performing individuals who deliver sail training programs for young people at sea. As a longtime mate with SEA, Rebecca stepped up in 2021 and served as captain of the Robert C. Seamans in San Diego. During a lengthy period as a shipkeeper, yard captain, and underway captain for day sail operations, Captain Johnson displayed the leadership, technical knowledge, and educational skills necessary of a sail training captain. As mate on board the newly constructed Matthew Turner, Rebecca developed and implemented nearly all the daily, weekly, and monthly procedures that they still use to this day. On top of that, Rebecca showed so much promise and excellence at the back of the ship that by the early 2021 season, through diligent training and empowerment, she had successfully taken the ship as her first solo command and worked herself into the first full-time relief captain position. Rebecca was instrumental in helping develop the flagship Girls Aloft program, which empowers young women through sail training. Rebecca Johnson, Young Sail Trainer of the Year. Rebecca, there you are.
Hi, thank you, Chris. It's a great honor to receive this award. I started working for SCA about 6 years ago as second mate. Worked my way up, received a lot of support there with training and things from all the other captains and mates. It's coming up into the captain role in the middle of the pandemic in 2021 was a crazy time, but received a lot of support with that. And then, started working with Call of the Sea in the middle of the pandemic, largely because of it. And it's been a great time working there and helping get the program up and going. It's really have appreciated all the training that I've gotten there as well.
And I know everybody really appreciates what you're doing for the organizations. We're just very pleased to say congratulations, Rebecca. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Okay, and now moving to the next award for Sea Education Program. This is awarded to a program offered by a current member of Tall Ships America, which has significantly contributed to the educational credibility of programs under sail. The program is offered in conjunction with the school, school system, school group, or other recognized educational institution, has a clear curriculum of educational goals compatible with curriculum goals of traditional schools, and has qualified instructors on a certified vessel. Since 2006, 22,000 students from 5th grade through college have been educated aboard Roseway through partnering with public and private schools. World Ocean School's experiential instruction is delivered in St. Croix in the US Virgin Islands and in the greater Boston area with a combination of day and residential program. During school programming, deckhand educators work alongside professional crew to implement World Ocean School's interdisciplinary place-based curriculum, which covers oceanography, physics, ecology, earth science, mathematics, history, literature, and human impact. World Ocean School has a full-time office staff member dedicated to pre-planning with partner institutions to develop tailored educational experiences. On board, a program coordinator uses the base curriculum to lead the deckhand educators in creating lesson plans that dovetail with the specific needs of a given school or college. So for this year's Sea Education Program of the Year is World Ocean School aboard Roseway. And we have here with us Tatiana Dalton from World Ocean School. Tatiana, can you join us with your microphone and your camera?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chris. So I'm coming to you all tonight from Schooner Roseway. I have some of our crew members around me, and I just want to say thank you to Tall Ships America for this honor, and send big thanks, big hugs, big appreciation to all of our crew members, past and present, that have delivered the programs that Chris just described, as well as our partners, the schools we work with, the teachers we work with, and the students that come aboard Roseway. We wouldn't be anything without all of those people. as well as I will say the parents that are supportive enough of what we do to send their kids for an adventure aboard Roseway. So thank you very, very much, and it is a really great honor.
Well, it's a wonderful honor, well deserved. Congratulations. So for the next one, we have the Sail Training Program of the Year. This is awarded to a current Tall Ships America member program that significantly contributes to the development of seamanship, navigation skills, teamwork, and leadership skills. The program is offered aboard a U.S. Coast Guard or a national equivalent inspected vessel. It's offered by certified qualified personnel, has clear training goals, and a curriculum compatible to the Tall Ships America Sail Training Logbook, and offers students the opportunity to demonstrate knowledge at sea by participating as active trainees in the running of the vessel. For this award, I'd like to read some program statistics since the pandemic began. 57,205 nautical miles sailed, 21,642 student days of operation, 2,820 academic credits earned, 1,448 certifications issued, 562 parents elated that their students were learning in person, 7 ocean crossings, 1 vessel constructed, and 0 COVID cases. Because of the long form nature of the programs, this organization doesn't operate tall ships, but is deeply vested in sail training on board traditional sailing vessels. They have expanded their operations with the launch of a new build vessel and the redeployment of an older vessel all throughout the pandemic, and they have not faltered in their programming to introduce young people to maritime licensing, seagoing skills, and the power and possibility of an adventure at sea. The Sail Training Program of the Year, Mester. And we've got Travis and Chris here, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I guess I'll start. First, a thanks to the board of Tall Ships America and for the continued support and all the volunteers that sit behind that board and make that happen. We're super appreciative of everything you guys do and the support that you give our organization and all organizations out there, and the resources as well. There's a lot of great people on the screen I can't see right now, that we bumped into through the years and seen out on the water, and each one of them has given us something that's necessary to do what we did. And those numbers you read they equate somehow to gray hairs in my head and gray hairs maybe on Chris's head, and certainly gray hair on Mike Megan's head, who's not on the screen right now, but is the overall director of our organization. Certainly had his hand on the tiller through all of those tumultuous years and all the years that we have been in operation. So I'd also like to give a huge thanks to our office staff, those that don't get to go play on the boats all the time. They play a huge role in getting things through and done. And while Chris and I don't spend as much time on the boats as we used to, I'm gonna let Chris speak a little bit about our sailing staff, because while I was floating around on a boat or in a shipyard or somewhere else in the pandemic, Chris was really making it happen and keeping the wheels on the bus and literally shifting which countries and which airplanes we were going to put people on to start programs everywhere around the world for all those days. So thank you, Chris, also for everything you do.
Thanks a lot, Trav. And obviously I'd like to echo a lot of Travis's sentiments there, and a special sort of heartfelt thanks goes out to Mike, who, as Trav said, has been sort of steadfast in securing a forward direction for us throughout these pretty difficult times. I think it's super important, though, for us to recognize, and I won't do it enough justice here today, and find the right words to articulate what a huge degree of thanks have to go out to our operational staff out on the boats. While we can sit here and kind of take the plaudits and be the ones on the screen here to accept the awards, I think it goes without saying that, without them, fulfilling the programs and essentially doing the bread and butter of what it is that we try to do out there on the boats, this wouldn't be possible, irrespective of whatever it is that we could figure out throughout the world during this time. Without those guys on board, the students would not have had the opportunities that they have done. And I think it's also important to recognize the sacrifices that they've made throughout this time as well. We've had people out there on the boat who haven't been back home in over a year and a half. Important family events, birthdays, marriages, funerals, deaths that people just have not been able to get back to. And without the crew that we have out there, who are really steadfast in maintaining their desire to want to be out on our boats and to run these programs and fulfill the opportunities for our students out there, this would not have been possible.
Well, it's another well-earned award and honor, and we're pleased that you're here to accept this on behalf of Mester and the whole team. So congratulations. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving to the next one, the Leadership Award. This is awarded to a member of Tall Ships America who's made a significant contribution to sail training through the demonstration of leadership at executive or senior levels, and whose impact has been felt by the sail training community at large beyond that of their own organization. Early in the pandemic, the leaders of our member organizations began coming together to find ways to survive the period of extraordinary uncertainty and genuine threats. The Pacific Coast operators were facing specific challenges due to the way the states were taking a regional approach to pandemic-related emergency responses. So Bruce began hosting weekly Pacific Coast tag-ups for the West Coast operators, and this group has continued to meet frequently. This group has bonded and become more involved in Tall Ships America activities, due in large part to the ongoing engagement they have together. In addition, when it was apparent that the Tall Ships fleet was facing significant insurance issues related to communicable disease exclusions and a contraction in the market, Bruce took the lead to form a Tall Ships America insurance task force. The task force, under Bruce's leadership, helped to construct a survey for members about the depth and breadth of the issues, to reach out to others and gather information, which has been helpful for all of us to see what we can do as a collective to address our insurance requirements. Bruce's energy and enthusiasm for being part of this community has grown, and it's not flagged, even as the priorities in his own organization were skyrocketing. He took steps within his own organization that he was generous to share with others. So the Leadership Award this year, Bruce Heyman.
Yay!
And he's got a group there. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris, for that very kind introduction. I'm honored and humbled to receive the Leadership Award for our Tall Ship America. Over the last couple of years, we've all had to struggle to keep our heads above water as we navigate the very troubled waters of COVID-19. During this time, I've had the privilege to work with a great number of the leaders that make up our fleet across North America, and I must say I'm very impressed. That's why I'm deeply humbled and honored to be receiving this award. As we all get up every morning and focus on adjusting our course so that we transition from surviving to hopefully thriving, I couldn't think of a better group of leaders to have on Team Tall Ships America. Team, okay. Cursor back here. Team, I've said this is a team sport, not just within each of our organizations, but also across the fleet. We are all much stronger when we work together and collaborate. Thank you to all of my peers. I feel I've gotten so much more out of our meetings, phone discussions, Zoom meetings, and even face-to-face meetings. Thank you. I was going to start listing individuals to thank, and there was just no way there was enough time to do so. However, there is one person that I believe was exactly the right person for the time and did exactly all of the right things to guide our Tall Ships America fleet through the challenging shoals and fog of COVID-19. Thank you, Chris, for all of your leadership and support. That's okay if anybody applauses. We all stand on the shoulders of those that came before us. And at Los Angeles Maritime Institute, we're no different. We are now in our 30th year, and I'm so very appreciative of all the hard and smart work America, the many leaders that came before us, some of whom are even here in the virtual room with us today. And unfortunately, many who live on in our memories and in the legacies they left us with. I wish my dear friend and longtime mentor, Charlie Bell, was here with us today to help us celebrate. He passed peacefully after a long and productive life a couple of weeks ago. I take comfort in knowing that all three of our operational vessels are sporting Charlie Bell designed and made bow nets. Thank you to all of our mentors like Charlie Bell who pay it forward. In my long overdue closing, thank you to my lovely wife, Diane, my family, the awesome crew at LAMI, and my wonderful colleagues at Tall Ships America. My heartfelt thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce, and thank you for your kind words. Again, it's a well-deserved honor, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So we're going to just take a beat now, and we're going to invite some people to join us on the screen. And as we do that, what I'd like to do is recognize that how important it is for us to have our awards celebrations. It's really such a privilege and an honor to be able to recognize the people who are making incredible contributions, not only in their own organizations, but in their local communities and in the broader sense of working across the fleet and sharing with each other. So it is just, it does my heart good. It's the best part of what we do, is being able to recognize the work that everybody is doing. And it's just such a pleasure. I would love if we were able to be in person doing this, as everybody would like to. And next year we will be doing that. We will be. But in the meantime, I'm so pleased that so many people have turned up to share with us in these recognitions, because it's such an important part of what we do. And so without further ado, I am going to welcome the people to present a nomination for our Lifetime Achievement Award. And with that, I am just going to bring people to the screen. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Good evening, everyone. Jamie Trost here from the Great White North of Michigan and the schooner Manitou. And we are here to present the award for the 2021 Lifetime Achievement Award. In terms of both personality and achievements, this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner has been both subtly and unconventionally inspirational. Very often we see this award given in acknowledgement of the recipient's decades-long work at a single organization. But breaking with that convention and so many others, this year's award winner has illustrated that in sail training, it's often the way a sailor conducts themselves in a variety of roles across the decades that improves the fleet for everyone. During a career that includes voyages far and wide aboard prestigious vessels such as Charlotte Ann, the original Pride of Baltimore, to Vega, Lady Maryland, both the Woodwinds and Sultana, and also includes construction or restoration crew work for some of the hallmarks of our fleet, like Pride of Baltimore II and Constellation. And finally, now in her role creating groundbreaking gender diverse programming aboard the schooner Adventurous, the conviction and courage that Susan Brittain has demonstrated stand as an inspiration for all of us sailors. And we happen to have one of those sailors with us right here, right now, live from Sweden. Take it away, Rebecca.
Susan, hi, it's been too long, and I know you didn't expect to see me here, but I'm calling in from Malmö, Sweden, where it's almost midnight, and where I am living and pursuing a PhD in maritime affairs at the World Maritime University. So everyone else, I'm Rebecca Piskowski, and I met Susan almost exactly 17 years ago on the eastern shore of Maryland on an atypically cold and snowy day, interviewing for a deckhand job on the schooner Sultana. I signed on for the season, and it was a transformational year for me. A season, like I'm sure many people here today have experienced, that totally changed my ambitions, my ideas of what I was capable of, and really the direction of my life. Susan was an exemplary captain. She and her wife, Cindy, who I also want to recognize as a hugely positive influence in my life and that of so many other sailors, they really welcomed us into the traditional sailing community and encouraged all of us on the crew that year to pursue whatever our ambitions were. And for me, that support continued long after both Susan and I had left Sultana. So thinking about Susan and this award, I want to try and tell you what is unique about Susan as a leader in my experience of the sailing industry. And I have sailed with a lot of great captains, but what is unique about Susan and why I think the industry has been so fortunate to have her for so many years is how she's able to maintain her perspective and her priorities and her values. As anyone who knows her can tell you, Susan loves sailing, and she validated for me and many others that sailing was something worth taking seriously and doing well. But at the same time, she never forgot, and she never let us forget, that what makes these boats valuable and important is the people who work on them and sail on them and learn on them. And it's not the other way around. And I know I'm not the only sailor who feels this way about Susan, because I've had this conversation with them about her over the years. So the last thing I will say is one day I remember from that season years ago, we were on Sultana. We were putting the boat to bed after a pretty rough transit and a really difficult docking situation that Susan had handled expertly. And Susan looked really tired, and she turned to all of us crew and she said, "You know, guys, one thing they don't tell you before you become a captain is that once you're the captain, no one's ever going to tell you, hey, you did a good job today." So on behalf of all the crew who were lucky enough to sail with you as a captain, I would just like to take this opportunity to say, hey, you did a good job, Susan. Well done. And I'm just so honored to be part of this today. So as I start tearing up, I'll send it over to you, Catherine.
Great. Just in time for me to start bawling my eyes out. So thank you, Rebecca. 5 years ago, Susan said yes to my job offer to work for Sound Experience and the Schooner Adventurous here in the Pacific Northwest. Susan would become the voice and the face of the organization for our members, for families signing up, their kids for summer programs, and for everyone who are exploring our work and our mission on tall ships. To this job, Susan has brought her lifetime of maritime and tall ships leadership. She brought an unrivaled CV of excellence to our education mission. Susan's brought patience to a point, a no-nonsense approach to everything, and above all, compassion for everyone. Every single phone call, every single time she picked up the phone, came to the ship, met a crew member, and she brought her equally incredible wife, Cindy, saying, where I go, she goes. Where she goes, I go. During the past 2 unimaginable COVID years, Susan pulled harder and faster to keep us afloat. Her lifetime of perspective, sense of humor has gotten us through. It's pretty unrivaled if you haven't experienced it. You know, there's no doubt that Susan Brittain would be my #1 bunker pick, or in this case, lifeboat pick. Susan has driven and advanced opportunities on adventurous and on tall ships for gender diverse young people with a passion and persistence born of a lifetime of human experience. Some lives include multiple lifetimes. On behalf of Rebecca, Jamie, and the many thousands of people whose lives Susan has profoundly touched both on and off the ships, I am beyond honored to present the 2021 Tall Ships America Lifetime Achievement Award to you, Susan Brittain. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow. I'm humbled, absolutely humbled by this award. I cannot thank Captain Jamie Trost and you, Catherine, and Rebecca. What a surprise. What an incredible surprise. Wow. And also want to thank Tall Ships America and Chris Van Wald for all they do to support all of us in keeping this mission moving forward. Most of all, sitting next to me, I want to thank Sinbad the Sailor, my wife Cindy. Can I just lean in for a little bit here? She's having a good cry here. My soulmate and wife, who sailed into my life in 1982 when the Pride of Baltimore, under the captaincy of Captain Miles, sailed late one night into Charlotte-le-Marais Harbor in St. Thomas and anchored behind the schooner Charlotte Ann. And we met, and our lives haven't been the same since. And I want to mention our wonderful son, Daniel, and his family, and our wonderful grandson, Hugo. So we get here on the backs of giants. And that giant that set me on a career working on tall ships and teaching was Captain Armin Alsasser. My first job was as a deckhand on the Pride of Baltimore in 1980 for the grand wage of $50 a week. Armin, for my first day aboard, was soft-spoken, but commanded the respect of everyone on board. He took an interest in every crew member and became a mentor and a role model to us all. When I left the Pride of Baltimore, I realized Armin was who I wanted to emulate when I became a captain. Thank you so much, Armin. Other captains and directors and owners helped me learn and grow as my career progressed. Captain Wayne Chimenti and Danny Quinn on the Charlotte Ann, Captain Steve Wedlock and Jeff Bolster on Tavega, Alan Rawle on the Skipjack Martha Lewis, Captain Chris Rosen with Living Classrooms, Captains Ken and Jennifer Kay with the two Woodwinds, and Drew McMullen and Chris Serino with the Sultana. And now I get to work with the captains and crew on Adventurous. I've been blessed. So then there's the chief mates that are the backbones of any vessel. And I have to thank Edie Everts, Kim Shaw, Tanya Banks Christensen, Zoe Small, Ian Bystrom, Carrington Ritchie, and Chris Whitlock, plus all the crew that I worked with, and many of whom continue to make the world a better place today. And as we've already talked about, and there's been an award already presented, to the volunteers who contributed hours and hours of their time on all the different boats I worked on sometimes intricate and detailed maintenance projects, be it wiring, mechanical work, varnishing, rigging, the list goes on ad infinitum. And then quite often to see the vessel depart the dock without them. Thank you over and over and over again. Thank you. And what about the office staff that work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring a crew and a program together day in and day out, and the executive directors and the board members who make this all possible? I'm learning a little bit more about how this all works now, but I do remember every day when I got underway, I used to thank the office staff and the executive director and board members who would make it possible for me to leave the dock that day. I also spent time ashore building the Lady Maryland and the Pride of Baltimore II and restoring various craft, I guess the Constellation being one of the bigger projects. Once again, Peter Boudreau, Leroy Soroski, Alan Rawle, John Brady, Rob Whalen, Chris Rosen, Scott Gifford, and John Swain patiently taught me how to make less mistakes and become a better carpenter, caulker, and rigger. And then, oh, the students. What an unmerited gift we are given as crew members working on tall ships. I had thousands upon thousands of students sail with me over the years, and each of them taught me as much as I taught them. I can never thank them enough for making my life so rich. And then, as you've heard a little bit already, there's Captain Bob, who carried Susan for all those years. Very few people get to make a decision that I had to make in 2009. I was faced with a monumental challenge brought on by 50 years of gender dysphoria. And rather than tuck another reef in the Maine and continue to thrash into headwinds as Captain Bob, I turned and set all sail and raced off to leeward and changed my gender and became Susan. Then in 2015, we moved to the Pacific Northwest and we immediately fell in love with Sound Experience and the Schooner Adventurous. And I can never thank them enough for hiring me in an administrative role. Catherine Collins, Amy Kovacs, Suchitra Iyer, Jenny Huntley, the captains and the crew on board Adventurers, who all are an absolute delight to work with. And then in 2009, I never believed that I would be greeting transgender and gender diverse students for a tall ship program. But I can guarantee you, with hard work and help from community partners and faith that all things are possible, miracles do happen. And I want to finish this little piece here with a wonderful quote from Catherine Collins, who inspires all of us every day and always seems to get us to go the extra bit to make miracles happen. And this is her wonderful quote. We hope you'll agree with all of us at Sound Experience that getting kids aboard who otherwise can't get on the water is Adventurous' highest and best use. I won't lie, it's not easy to do. It requires a Herculean effort to work across divides that include language, culture, transportation, logics, and more. And that's why I continue to work in this field. And I'm just so honored to receive this award today. Thank you.
More cowbell, Cindy.
Yes, yes, congratulations. And again, well-deserved, well-earned. And thank you so much to everyone who helped make this happen. It's just been amazing, and you should see the comments coming up in the chat. So that's terrific. And they're coming up for all of you. And we appreciate that. Susan, thank you so much. I have cried enough today. Thank you. I am going to have to stop right now. That was just beautiful. Thank you very much. So with that, I think we're going to close this ceremony up. We're going to, just one moment, please. Okay. Okay, Erin is going to be joining back here. So Erin, one thing that I want to say as we close this up is that I'd really like to, again, thank the committee. I'm not sure that, I'm just doing some technical stuff. I'm not sure that I actually recognize them by name, but if I did, apologize. It's a repetition. Chris Richmond, Captain Tiffany Cran, Captain Lauren Morgans, and Nicholas Hardesty from our office staff. They are on the committee. They're the ones who helped go through, sift through the nominations, read through them, and make a recommendation for the board. So thank you to them for being part of that. I also want to do one really quick correction. It was Andy Ellers was the other member of the team. So I'm just letting everybody know that I didn't forget him. I just got put on the spot. So another trivia winner from last night. So Erin, what I'd like to do is have you join us and talk about the after party. Thank you once again to everyone who has been part of this conference. Thank you to everyone who is part of this community and continues to make a big difference in everybody's life on a daily basis and throughout the year. We do amazing work, and as a community, we're very strong together. So thank you for being part of all of this. And so now I'm going to have Erin, you're on the screen. I'm adding Erin into this, and I will be really excited to hear applause at next year's ceremonies.
I know. All right, so I'm frantically putting in it's hard to type and talk at the same time. I'm friendly putting in the link in both of the chats. It is to Wonder. So there is a password. It is conference 22, and I'm putting that in both of the chats as well. So I hope it's conference lowercase all one. I hope everyone had a chance to play around in the app. I know Amanda said that a few people bopped in throughout the day. So just a reminder, it does work on PC and it does work on Mac. It does not work on tablets or phones. So find a laptop. I think I said and I also sent an announcement out yesterday, an announcement out today. So if you look in organizer announcements, there's a ton of information in there that if you haven't been checking it, make sure you check it. So I hope everyone joins us in Wonder. I think I said it was going to start about 7, but we actually stayed on time today. So go us. So I encourage everyone to kind of bop over to Wonder and join us over there. I do know that the Whova will stay open, will stay up. It's not going to shut down. So if you want to continue creating meetups or chatting with people or having discussions, or just you can keep using the platform honestly for the next month, because our event technically goes until the crew resource days. So you will have access to this platform for at the very least until the crew resource days, and probably a little bit afterwards too. So please keep using it. Please keep engaging. There are a ton of awesome topics and conversations going on right now. It is robust and it is exciting, and people are sharing, and it is just really awesome. So in the meantime, click on the Wonder apps or click on the Wonder links, and it's kind of like a more fun version of Zoom. So I hope we'll see everyone there. Anything else, Chris? Thank you for being here. That was fun.
It was fun, and I really appreciate it. And having it in this fashion it works, and we get to do what we do best, which is get together and talk ship. And so I would love for everybody to just continue to stay with us and stay tuned, because we're really excited about all the work we have in front of us. Thank you for being here, and enjoy the after party. Thanks, Erin.